Hey guys, it's Steph. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Apparently, the picture of Mark Hamill, and I'm going to basically put it up here in a second, but basically, Disney is again in full damage control. The guy whose cubicle it was on the outside of, not the inside, and he said it was on, his name is Justin Bolger. He's one of the social media guys for Lucasfilm. He does a very shitty job, by the way. He basically was saying in a tweet, it decorated his cubicle. Now, when you look at, when you read his tweet, you think, well, it's on the inside of his cubicle. No, it's on the outside of his cubicle. Okay. You put things on the outside of your cubicle so everybody else can see them. I've worked in a place where I've decorated the outside of my cubicle. Political, cartoons, memes, little posters, little quotes, things like that, so everybody can see them, right? That's what he was doing. And this is a guy, and I saved a picture of him from his Twitter, that is wearing a t-shirt with the Empire's symbol on it. You know, I don't really understand what the draw is, unless you've never been taught right versus wrong, good versus evil. But the way Star Wars is going, you know, apparently to Lucasfilm, there's no dark side or light side, it's all just nihilistic shit. But let me put the picture up of Luke and the sequence of events and how they unfolded, okay? So this is Steph. Stay tuned. So this is Andy Gutierrez, the host, and you can see by her left elbow this picture on the outside of the cubicle of Mark Hamill with the red X across his face. Here's a close-up of the offending photograph. And here's the actual photograph taken from Return of the Jedi. So, alright, everybody here who's ever had a job probably has seen a cubicle, and depending on where they work, the employees that worked in the cubicle were allowed to decorate the cubicle. So, why is this picture there? To me, Justin Bolger, I think his name is, excuses is total damage control. I mean, this guy's wearing a t-shirt with an Imperial insignia on it on his Twitter thing. Now, I'm not gonna go into that. I don't know what that means. I mean, I think it's odd. You know, but like I said, if you don't believe in anything and you're a nihilist, maybe, you know, a genocidal fascism is your thing. I don't know. I really just don't know. I mean, I don't know what it means. But the picture of Hamill, along with the red X, along with the way that Pablo Hidalgo, who's Mr. King producer up in Northern California at Lucasfilm, Ruin Johnson, the guy who basically fucked up the sequels, even more than they already were fucked up. The way they treat the fans is indicative of what I think goes on at Lucasfilm, and it is an anti-OT bias. Now, a lot of people say I'm wrong. Geeks and gamers will say I'm wrong. He doesn't really want to go in and say they hate us. I don't know why. I don't think he wants to get, you know, I can't be dishonest. I can't literally be that dishonest. I have to tell you what I think. And I will go out on the limb because I know it's true. The anti-fan bias these people have at Lucasfilm, the hate for the OT characters and the need they have to kill them off, is proof positive. And this The picture of Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker with the red X across his face is part and parcel to what I think is the culture at Lucasfilm, which is basically anti-Star Wars. Now, you can disagree with me, but because I come from a world where actions speak louder than words. You can say you're not, but when you have your bosses and shit rolls downhill, okay? If you're this goes into any place, be it a military organization or a company or a tribe or a clique or a school, if your leadership is shitty, it's all just going to be shitty, right? The culture is going to be shitty. And the worker ants will be lax and shitty. Well, that's what I think is going on at Lucasfilm. I don't believe that they care about their jobs. I mean, even to the point, this host, Andy Gutierrez, she's very arrogant. She's not, you can't really connect with her. You can tell she's really not a Star Wars fan. She probably doesn't even know what it's really all about. Honest to God, I don't think Justin Bolger knows what Star Wars is about. And you know, then we got to debate where it comes from, where this where this ignorance comes from, and again, it comes from the top. And I think that Hidalgo encourages it. I think his own behavior encourages it. Just follow him online. Just follow him on Twitter. You know, I think Kennedy might be doing some things, but she's down in Burbank. I think she's basically allowed this guy who doesn't like Star Wars, and you can tell he doesn't like it, to trample over everything that George Lucas did, and she really can't do anything about it. And it goes again to my theory that she doesn't have any control over anything, whether she believes it or not. And I think firing Gareth Edwards is a reaction, not a take charge, a thing that a boss would do. Firing Lord and Miller at such a late date in filming the Solo movie is a reaction, and it's the last thing she wanted to do. You know, firing Colin Trevorrow was a reaction, you know, to his wanting to make a good movie. She doesn't really have any control, and, you know, I want you to think about that. So you've got, I don't know, some people call Pablo Hidalgo Darth Sidious, and I think he behaves that way. I also think he behaves like Jabba. If you know anything about Hutts, you have to read A.C. Crispin's books, and the philosophy behind the Hutties. Very weird creatures, by the way. I'm going to give you a piece of trivia. Did you know the Hutts are basically asexual? That they can change sexes from male to female at will. That was actually one of the funniest moments, I think, in was it Rebel Dawn? No, was it Rebel Dawn, or was it no, it wasn't. It was the Hutt Gambit, I think. And Han walks out of the audience chamber of one of the Hutt leaders, and Jabba insists on Han saying that this Hutt leader, Jiliak, is now a she, because she's pregnant. His reaction is like, these things are fucking weird, you know? And they are. They really are. But you know, you've got, but yeah, I mean, I don't know which, if you had to give him a Star Wars character, who would you give, who would you make, who would you cast Hidalgo as? Darth Sidious? I don't think he's smart enough. I really, really don't, to be Sidious. But there's a really sort of sick culture at Lucasfilm, And the pictures I'm going to post again, you've all seen them. Hidalgo holding up not just one offending photograph poster, but several. He's got a fistful. And, Ryan Johnson holding the same one up. And then this, picture of Mark Hamill. And then the excuses. And I'm going to post the comicbook.com article because I want you all to read it and judge for yourself. Me, I think it's damage control. I really don't think they expected such an angry response to everything they've been doing. But, what are we supposed to do? Just lay down and take it? Most of us have been, we've been fans. I've been a fan for 40 years. Some of us here have been fans since the prequels. Some of us became fans because their parents or older siblings or aunts or uncles introduced them to the OT, and we fell in love with it. All right? And we know that that the OT characters are being fucked over, and that we're being fucked over. And it's bad enough seeing Han do a 180 in character arc from where we left him at the end of Return of the Jedi, but to see how he was taken out, and don't again lecture me about Harrison Ford and blah blah blah. I know all about that. It's a lot deeper than you think it is. All right, so please save your wind for somebody else. And that was bad enough, but I understood. It was just a poor way of handling it. If Han and Leia only had one kid, because then it's like, why do they even stay together? But again, it is indicative of the nihilism and the anti-traditional values and the fuck you to male-female relationships that Lucasfilm has. Which is funny because Kathleen Kennedy's been married to the same man for donkey's years. All right, but the reaction to what they did to Luke really, really should be concerning to Lucasfilm. Now, I know for a fact that they've got to be terrified of the lack of response and the fans to the Solo movie. First off, Alden Ehrenreich, I'm not going to talk about it, but Jesus Christ, okay? Again, it's indicative of how they feel about the OT characters, all right? And there really, I think, needs to be a major house cleaning, and there really should be. And if Disney wants to continue to make money with this franchise, you don't buy a franchise like Star Wars and not want to make money. I'm going to tell the people that they want to destroy it. No, they don't. And they think they can turn it into something that it was not. Their idea of this girl power shit, why does it always have to be girl power for Disney? That's poor business and marketing. Fuck girl power, all right? Fuck it. Fuck it, fuck it, fuck it. How's that? Disney, this is Star Wars. It is not Cinderella. It is not Snow White. It is not fucking Mulan or Pocahontas or, The Lion King or any other... Well, actually, it is kind of The Lion King if you think about it. But it's not any of the other bullshit that you put out there. It is Star Wars, okay? And boys are as valuable as girls are. So stop with this shit and leave Star Wars the way it is, the way it was meant to be, and respect the fans. All right? Truth Channel put out a video or a bunch of different blurbs about the money that The Last Jedi made. What Truth Channel did is they took different numbers from different sites, and I'm trying to get what sites they use so you can do it yourself. I don't do numbers. If I was in a situation like this, I'd be the overall prime producer and director and probably script writer, but I sure as hell wouldn't be crunching the numbers. I get somebody really good to help me because I suck at it, okay? I really, really do. I'm a history major, not an accountant. But I'll put that all out there so you can decide for yourself if they really did come away with the $1.3 billion profit. Because I know for a fact they didn't, all right? But again, it's all goes to the cover-up, the damage control, yada, 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 that's going on at Lucasfilm, and that sick, vile, frat boy, nihilistic, don't give a shit culture that starts at the top with Kennedy losing control and Hidalgo running amok. All right? And, Bib Fortuna Johnson, running along with them, and, Abrams jumping in for damage control. So, yeah, this comicbook.com story is damage control. Go on Twitter and find Bulger's Twitter. It's the Apex, at the Apex, and you'll see what he looks like, and you see his tweets, his excuses. He's an arrogant, condescending little fuck, just like the rest of them are at Lucasfilm. And you don't have to be really nice, but don't go completely off the rail at him. But just tell him how you feel. All right, I encourage you. So this is Steph signing out. I'm going to leave you with the evidence again of the lack of regard for the fans, the OT, and what's wrong at Lucasfilm in photos. This is Steph signing out. See you around the galaxy.